got a minute before we open, so I'm gonna play for you my new ringtone. Buck 29.
Buck 29.
Yeah. And only
They needed-
51 more weeks till Masters.
They needed that extra $1.29, I'm sure, after
Yeah,
last
I'm
week.
sure after. I heard somebody spent like $100 grand in there. I don't know if that's true, maybe a rumor.
The average ticket went over 1,000 this year.
Really?
Average ticket in the pro shop was over 1,000.
Well, on that note, I'll call the meeting to order. Hope everybody I trust everybody had a great week, and if you're like me, you're recovering slowly. Please bow with me as we pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. Thank you for the rain. Pray that it would nourish the land, Columbia County. Father, I pray that you would be with us today as we discuss issues that come before this committee. Bring wisdom, knowledge to make the right decisions. Pray now that, again, you would be with us in all our conversation. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Republic. God. Justice. Do have a quorum with everyone in attendance. This should be the minutes from the last meeting of March 8th in your packet. Agree with those minutes, I'll accept a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Approved. Then as far as the agenda, Scott, is there anything that needs to be added?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I believe we have one item, or actually two items, Mr. Kennedy wants to pull. Is that correct? Mr. Kennedy?
I-2D1, the employee medical and I-2D2, on-site employee.
Do you want to pull those off?
We're still working through that process. I believe we have another meeting today to talk about
One and
that.
two.
Yeah, 1 and 2. Do 1 and 2. Got it. Consider the agenda approved. Are there any presentations? The consent agenda, I don't see anything on the consent agenda, so we go straight into the debate. Scott, you have the first one, I2C1.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for your consideration, we have renewal for the internal auditing services agreement. As you know, Serrata Maddox Evans and Company has been with us for several years. For 2 years, they've continued to provide timely and accurate and good auditing information for us after that initial term. And staff would recommend that we would renew the agreement for additional 1-year term with the terms of the original agreement. It would coincide with our fiscal year, which would be July 1st through June 30th, 2017. And you'll see that the cost not to exceed the budgeted funds of $91,500. There will be 2 remaining options on the agreement, but we'll bring those back to you at another time if you're inclined to renew this for an additional year.
Make a motion with a question.
Okay.
I think they do a fantastic job for us. Are there any conditions that we have to bid that at any point, or at least test the waters on that at a certain period of time?
It's professional services.
So,
So we
no.
can continue, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have the ability to do that with professional services. You can find a firm that you're comfortable with, that you have a relationship with, that knows your county, and then you can move forward. I will say that Serrata Maddox is, based on what we've seen in other counties and based on what we've seen on our external audit, they're giving us a very fair price, we think.
Oh, I'm happy with it. I was just curious what the procedure was, if there was any requirements after 10 years or whatever. Okay, thank you.
Anything?
No, just, is that consent?
That is consent.
So moved. Next, the marketing agreement.
The next item we have is an item with the Development Authority. They've asked that we engage the services of Maybaum Commercial Properties to exclusively market the property that will be the plaza at Evans Town Center. Now, you're all familiar with this project. This is something that Maybom has approached the Development Authority about. Obviously, it requires your approval. That would basically allow Maybom to market that entire piece of property as they continue to try to develop it out. They are our partner on that piece, and we feel comfortable with this marketing agreement. Staff will recommend approval.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved. Glenn, jump right to,
Okay, the next item is to amend the ICMA RC Vantage Care Retirement Health Savings Plan to adopt a new series of collective investment trust funds, the Vantage Trust 2 funds. This will result in an 8 basis point savings on assets currently invested. That translates into about a $56,000 saving at the current fund. Staff recommends adoption.
Move to consent.
Second.
so moved.
The next item is to amend the ICMA RC 457 plan that allows employees the option to choose either payroll deduction or ACH bank debit for repayment of loans. Right now, they're only allowed to use the ACH bank debit. Gives them another option.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved. Leanne?
First item I have for you is resolution number 16-1226. This is to allow us to participate in the Florida Sheriff's Association Cooperative Purchasing Program. As you know, I've brought a couple of these to you in the past. We are allowed by state law to participate in these type of programs. Official Code of Georgia says that any public agency in this state may enter into agreements with a public agency in another state as long as you pass a resolution to do so. And this will allow us to purchase off of this program where contracts have been competitively bid, evaluated, and awarded. Saves us time and money going through that process ourselves.
This is a one or two reading item.
One.
Move for consent.
Second.
We can join as many of these as we find that work. Okay.
And we don't have to use them.
Right.
If it's cheaper, we can use it. If it's not cheaper, we don't.
So moved.
The next item is a similar resolution. It's resolution number 16-1225. This is to establish member participation in the Purchasing Solutions Alliance. Same type of deal. It's something that has been put together for governments where contracts have already been competitively bid. And there are no costs to us for membership in these programs.
Just if we use them.
Well, there's
Well,
still
even then, there's no cost. I
right.
mean, it's just a buying power
Right.
coalition. Okay. Move to consent.
Second.
So moved.
Good deal.
The next item is an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Blythe. They wish to purchase a 2002 International 2000 series dump truck from us. We have determined that the value for this particular truck is $5,000. Attached is the intergovernmental agreement for the purchase of this item.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
Blythe.
The next item is an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Hepzibah for a purchase of another dump truck. I need to amend the price of this one. In further discussions with Hepzibah, they wish for us to do repairs on this dump truck for them. We have determined the price of that to be $1,800. They would like for us to add that to this value to bring it up to $6,800. They have agreed to that. So I just need to amend the attached intergovernmental agreement before it goes to that be your desire.
Move for consent.
Second. Blythe and Hepzibah, covered South Richmond County.
Yeah, with it up to 6,800 approved.
And I would just to piggyback with that, I've had another call. Apparently, this is becoming a very popular thing with some of the small cities around. As you know, we did a vac truck for the city of Swainsboro that we were surplusing. Some of these cities just don't have the resources to buy these vehicles new. We surplus our vehicles on gov deals. These intergovernmental agreements really help the small cities. In the past, we've just done that for cities in Columbia County. But now, obviously, we have Swainsboro looking, and we have cities in Richmond County that are looking. Staff's okay with doing that. We determine a fair market value on the vehicle. If we can help a smaller government, I think that's a good thing to do. But just want to make sure that's the direction that that this committee wants to continue to go in. I've recently been contacted by another small city wanting to look at pursuit vehicles, patrol cars that the sheriff is surplusing. So before we continue to go down that road, I just want to make sure that that's something that you're comfortable with.
I think it's a great idea if it's local.
I'm all for helping. I don't want to become a clearinghouse. I don't want to start.
Well, we got to get rid of them anyway, so we're
Right,
gonna-
I mean,
we're gonna
yeah, I
put
mean,
them
if,
on gov
as long as
deals.
we're just maintaining our standard procedures and they just happen to be available for these local governments at the time they need them, that's fine.
Yeah. Just wanted to get a little bit of direction there to make sure that that was okay for staff to continue to, we'll always present them to the committee for you to make the decision, but you may see more of them in the future, now that the word is out that we're willing to do that.
And I think, though, that if there's common interest in a vehicle, we should give priority to Columbia County
Okay.
cities.
Okay, yes,
And typically, that's what happens. I think our cities have first option on anything we have. Okay.
And I'd like to take just a brief moment to introduce our new fleet manager to you all, Mr. Nick Hayes.
Morning.
Morning,
Hey.
Nick.
Here for
Welcome.
2 weeks now, so doing an
Okay.
awesome job.
Tell us about yourself, Nick. Welcome. Super.
Another Harlem guy.
We need another Harlem.
And
grad.
over.
Yeah,
Harlem guy. I don't know.
that's right.
All right. Leanne, next
The
point.
next item is the renewal of an agreement with Cisco. Back in 2014, an RFP was prepared to establish discounts off the manufacturer list price for certain Cisco products. The initial term of the agreement was August 19th, 2014 to July 31st, 2016, so it is coming up for renewal. We would like to exercise the first of 3 options to renew this agreement. We'd also like to amend it so that it will coincide with our fiscal year and have the new expiration date be June 30th of 2017. So the new contract will run July 31st of 2016 to June 30th, 2000.
How much money do we spend with them?
Lots. John, you have any idea how much money we spend with them?
I'm sorry, did you say 450?
200, a $250,000.
$250,000.
But I think the same question you have to ask is how often we use it. And whenever you have any kind of network issues, guys are on the phone immediately, working the issue with us. So you may not see the value up front, but definitely gain it as you go on.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
The next item is the purchase of computers and laptops. As you know, we have a life cycle management program with our computers where we try to replace them every 3 years if possible. We do have quite a few that are more than 3 years old. Once they hit the 3-year mark, they're no longer covered under warranty or maintenance contracts. So we did a bid for the purchase of desktop computers, monitors, laptops, and docking stations to include 3-year warranties. The low bid was submitted by Southern Computer Warehouse in the amount of $91,235.60. The budget for this was $100,000. Budget.
How many laptops?
For consent.
Second.
$1,200 a pop. Does it get any software, or is it just the hardware?
But that's not just laptops. Desktops as well.
And docking stations.
So moved.
The next item is with the broadband utility. I think we've been operational now for about 3 years, and Lewis Foster has been working really hard to expand our services and increase revenues. This next item is for that purpose. We would like to enter into a lease agreement with JT Communications LLC. They have an operation, a facility at 55 Marietta in Atlanta, Georgia, where communication utilities can locate their equipment. It's the largest concentration of telecommunication companies in the Southeast, and it allows these carriers to interconnect directly with one another. We would like to lease space within this facility for an initial term of 3 years with an option for 2 3-year renewals. And Chris Driver, our attorney, has reviewed this lease and is okay with it. The monthly lease is $1,000 a month for the first 3 years plus a $2,500 security deposit. We do anticipate that this is very important for us to be able to enhance our services and increase our revenues, have a presence at 55 Marietta.
This does what? You and I have talked about it before, Scott, to be connected.
Yeah, I mean, just to, in a nutshell, when you think about 50, the way it's described is it's a broadband hotel, and I've actually visited this place. It's unbelievable. Security's unbelievable. But it's just, it's floors and floors and floors of racks and computer equipment, and each individual company has its own area, so to speak. So what it lets you do, and think about all these, and I think you're going to visit it today in one of your tours, but think about all these wires just kind of running all through this building, and you have all these fibers that are coming in. It allows you to cross-connect anywhere in the world. So literally, we would have a Columbia County presence, wires running. We could take that Columbia County and plug it right into a Google, right into a Yahoo in China if we wanted to. It gives us a tremendous opportunity to be able to cross-connect. The other thing it would be able to do is it allows us, with a presence at 55 Marietta, there is no reason that anybody can't do that type of business, cyber business in Columbia County. Because in the past, they'd always say, well, we got to make sure we have access to these other places to be able to cross-connect. So now that we have a presence in 55 Marietta, we can cross-connect anywhere in the world. It's a big deal.
It's like a distribution hub.
But it puts us on the backbone, right, or whatever of the.
Well, it puts you on the it puts you directly on the artery.
Yep.
Not going, instead of having to get there by going second or third-party carriers through their system to get to it, that network, it's a direct connect. It puts you right there at their point of presence.
Think about at home. So if you have Comcast at home, when you go to Google on your Comcast, you're going through Comcast to get to Google.
Right.
For us, we would be able to directly connect to Google without having a middleman in that. And what it does is it just allows us to enhance the services that we have here, but still gives people like Comcast or anybody else that want to do business in Columbia County an opportunity to say, well, you know what, that's another avenue for us to be able to have that direct connection to Atlanta.
And there will be some cost savings too, because we can be at that site. It'll enable us to get access to internet connections at a cheaper rate than what we're getting them now. So it'll not only give us a redundant path, reverse path, but
That's good. And you weren't able to negotiate getting us on the NSA link over here?
we don't want to be on that.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
The next item is another exciting project that Mr. Foster has been working on. The company Tower Cloud approached us wanting to do something sort of like a fiber swap. They have been awarded a contract with Verizon where they are to build and operate a new fiber optic network across the Augusta area. Part of the path that they will be building comes into Columbia County, where our broadband utility already is located. We have some empty conduit that we're not using that they would like to utilize, and in exchange for that, they will allow us to utilize some conduit that includes fiber that goes into Richmond County. This will allow us to expand over into Richmond County and provide services for companies over there, which again will expand our
Broadband.
service capability and increase our revenues. Now, this is called an indefeasible right of use agreement, which means basically we each, Tower Cloud and the county, have the exclusive right to the other entities' conduit and fiber without actually owning it. So we will still own our conduit, they just have the right to use.
This is just a swap.
basically, yes.
It is, but there's some other issues in here too that related to the prior one at 55 Marietta. Part of this allows, what it will do is it'll enable Tower Cloud to provide us that 10 gig waveform all the way back to 55 Marietta. So these two items really complement each other well.
And if you think about our future, I know that the hospital is always on everybody's radar still, and we're looking at that and talking about how technologically advanced that is. This will give us the opportunity to have direct connection to them. So think about it, if you thought about like a water line, if it was in Richmond County, then obviously Richmond County would own that water line, we'd have to connect to them, they would provide the final service. But in this particular case, now since we're gonna have our fiber actually in another county, we're going to be able to have direct connection to a hospital that then they could directly connect to the gateway because we have fiber there. And we could give them dedicated fiber if we needed to. So there's a lot of telemedicine things you could do. And then when you couple that with 55 Marietta, you can do telemedicine anywhere in the world by supporting even downtown operations.
Right, and this path also goes by Augusta University, which is already discussion with us to hop on the fiber.
Right.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved. Thanks, Ms. Leanne.
Okay, this one.
That's it.
This next item is just the, for your information, it's FY 15 to 16 personnel savings report to date.
Scott, any legal matters?
I don't have anything, Mr. Brown.
We've got the personnel report, internal services, year-to-date budget report.
Yes, the first report that I have in your package is the year-to-date budget report for the month ended March 31st, 2016. We should be operating around 75% of the budget at this time. I have included a list of some of the key funds on the rec sheet for review. Everyone is operating very well at this time.
Bloss?
I'm ready to leave the room.
Yes, our favorite report of the month is our SPOS report. The February sales tax revenue we collected was just over $1.5 million. We are now at a whopping annual increase of 0.58%. And, I always like to note comparison to the same month last year. It was about $20,000 more than last February. Well, actually just $12,000, so. Have any more information other than that?
Impressive for the 28th fastest growing county in the U.S. Next.
The next item for your review is the March procurement report. That's just for information. And the final item is the investment summary report.
Any other comments from the commission or the public?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
We have an executive session.
No, sir.
Our next scheduled meeting is May 10th, the same room at 8:30 a.m. If there's no other business to come before this committee, we stand adjourned.
You guys want
Just a couple of minutes.
Just a couple minutes? How about 8:55 then?
That would be a
All
couple.
right? 2 minutes? Really give me, doesn't really give me a link. It's
You got your present. Look at you, Ashley. So cute.
Go ahead, Tim. Yeah, go.
trying to get her name. No problem.
Fours.
Well, it might be nothing, like you said. I mean, that was why I was just.
I don't know if it depends on if she has access to other people's information. I'll send it.
Scott, the roundabout on Appling Harlem Road at I-20, or Matt, where is the roundabout at Appling Harlem Road and I-20? Yeah? Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, it's just the first I'd heard of it when I saw this on the agenda.
They've been cashing the checks I've been passing out today. I don't know if they're all holding up their end of the bargain. Great thing. Well, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Kentucky Water Utility.
I'm in the right location.
Can't wait to meet with you. I think we're gonna try to schedule
What are the ladies laughing at?
I said, I make sure, looking for my name, make sure I'm in the right location. I wasn't sure after last Wednesday.
You abandoned me. You kicked me over here.
Did I? Okay.
Fine with me.
Did you ever look up that,
I didn't do it.
talking about?
Yeah.
Scott and I looked it up and talked about it and read it, and we still don't know what the hell it says.
The revenue bill, he said he talked to,
We know it reduces the interest rate. There's some wording in there that says we may or may not be able to appeal.
There's one sentence in there that says the commissioner may promulgate rules that allows certain things.
May.
Well,
At the commissioner's discretion, I imagine.
yeah, but it really only applies to the refunds. If you continue reading, as it relates to refunds, yada, yada, yada. So she could maybe overstep her bounds, what the law says, but it'd been very easy for them to fix that law. It'd been very easy for them to add that sentence, but they didn't.
We could claim we overpaid or something, I guess, or underpaid and go,
Yeah.
we look at some records.
Steve and put him over there? Oh, Matt was supposed to sit up there.
We all for it. We all for it.
Well, I actually went to ACCG's nice new office when I was in Atlanta, but nobody was there except the receptionist, so.
Oh, really?
What is that big office for? They have the whole floor of the, right there next to the Ritz-Carlton. What is that, the Capitol Club?
Yeah,
That's their new office. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
one entire floor.
yeah.
For what? Let me know.
That's about right.
Worked all week.
You ready? All right, we're a couple minutes over, but yeah, we're still recovering from last week, so I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Development and Engineering Services Committee. Having already dispensed with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, and having a full quorum of the committee, I would ask for approval of the March 8th meeting minutes.
Second.
So moved. Any adjustments to this agenda, gentlemen?
I don't believe so, Mr. Chairman.
Nothing? All righty. No presentations and nothing on consent. We'll move right along into new business. A public hearing.
Had a request for that district. Excuse me.
He's from Richmond County. You can work with him.
Sorry, we don't have that fancy light system or anything either. You're going to have to
Apologize for
button
that.
up here.
Anyway, we've had a request for 4 new street light districts. 3 of these are development-driven from the Canterbury, which is part of Clambridge 1, Hartstown 1, Whispering Pines Phase A, and then we have a citizens-driven petition for Indian Springs Section 3 Phase 2, which is off Champlin Road. We've received petitions from the developer as well as the citizens on the in Indian Springs. And at this point, we have advertised this in the Columbia News-Times. The letters were mailed to all affected property owners. So at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for public comment. Nobody coming forward, I close the open hearing.
All righty, sir. So, move into the next item.
Be a variance for the flood standards for tax map parcel 042A, parcel 026. Description of it. They're requesting a variance from section 42-45 standards for subdivisions for the 101.51 acre parcel on tax map 042A, parcel 026, which requires that base flood elevations be developed for subdivisions containing land greater than 5 acres using detailed methodologies for submittal to FEMA as a letter of map revision. No additional developments planned for this parcel. Granted, this variance will not result in increased flood heights, additional threats to public safety, et cetera. Staff recommends approval of the requested for the variance of section 42-5 flood standards for subdivisions for tax map 042A, parcel 026.
Move to consent with a question.
Second.
Why? Why they, if they're not going to develop, why are they doing this?
I believe that they subdivided the property.
A lot of times we see this if somebody's trying to subdivide property to give to family members, something like that. They don't have to go through the complete flood study. If they're just going to subdivide the property but then not build on it, there's really no reason for them to have to do this study.
Right now, I'm just wondering why they were getting a variance at this point. If they have to come back. Got it.
Further questions? That moves to consent. I-2B3, sir.
This is an indication for roundabout support at the interchange of Appingham Road and I-20. Anytime you build a roundabout on a state route, Georgia DOT wants to ensure that the locals support it, in addition to anything like lighting or even landscaping. They just want to make sure that we're on board before they go forward and get blindsided like they have in the past. Staff recommends that the Board of Commissioners authorize the Chairman Cross to execute and the indication of roundabout support for this interchange.
Move for consent with a question.
Second.
Ross?
Likely is this to happen?
It's on the tip, and I think it's on our Band 3 project for TIA. So it's got some issues, and it's got some hurdles to overcome, but anytime they do a roundabout, they'll do a detailed analysis to make sure the roundabout's the best option. And if it's not, this is just, they'll look at the roundabout as well as a typical interchange design, and if the roundabout's the best option, they'll move forward with it. But it's also cost constraints, and there's some, I understand some wetlands issues over there that may have to be overcome, but probably about 50-50.
Thank you.
And Mr. Morris's absence, but all the feedback we've gotten so far after all the hoopla about people not wanting the roundabout that's already out there, everything's been positive from what I understand, hasn't it? So, yeah. All
Yes.
right. Heading to Roundabout City.
Yeah, I mean, the existing bridge has some hump and some side distance issues, and the roundabout can overcome some of that, but I think this is a bridge replacement project on top of it ultimately.
Thank you, Mr. Castle. Next.
This is, excuse me, it'll be a project framework agreement for Stevens Creek Road. This is a MPO project. Federal funds require that we come up with a project frame agreement with Georgia DOT in order to allow us to design or manage the design of the roadway. And so, anyway, the staff recommends that we enter into the project framework agreement with GDOT to manage the project.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
Okay, tab number 5, installation of roadway safety lighting at Pineland Drive. This is a skewed intersection that serves the Pineland Estates subdivision off North Delaware Road. Traffic engineering evaluated the intersection for roadway safety. It met the criteria based on the speed limits and the volumes things coming out of it, and as well as the sight distance. Recommendation would be install one light at the intersection at an annual cost of $162.96. And staff recommends approval for Georgia Power to install one safety light on the existing pole and the bill accounting accordingly.
Move to consent.
Second.
My kind of price.
How often do you audit, to go around and check, see whether or not we need to increase lighting at certain exits? Just
Well, at this
Pattern or-
point, at this point, I've got traffic engineering, we're looking at our top 10 most accident intersections, and then also maybe even go to the top 20 to look at safety improvements, and some of it may be lighting, striping, but we're gonna start doing a lot of more in-house studies as far as what we can do to improve the safety and operations of a lot of our intersections.
So it's based on the safety reports that we're
Yeah.
getting, that you just,
It was that, I think this one was citizen-driven complaint, and what happens when they complain, we'll go out there and investigate it and see if it meets the criteria, and this one did. It's skewed, the light will make the intersection a lot more obvious. I think GDOT already has a warning sign in advance of the intersection, but this will supplement the safety intersection, for sure.
great. Thank you, sir. Next.
This one's sort of a two-part agenda item. We're looking for guidance from the commission on this. Anyway, we had a request from the citizens on Old Petersburg Road at Clark Point. When Georgia Power came in and relocated utilities to the side of the road, the citizens noticed that the lighting was different. Basically, it's not the same as what they're used to. It's not going to spill out into the roadway once it's widened. So what they want is some additional wattage along just that district. In addition to that, their district was just 9 lights, and that would have been an additional cost of this, about $500 total. But we wanted to go ahead and look at the whole corridor additionally. And that would be an additional cost. I think looking at $13,484.52 up front with the $28,017.60 annual cost to look at the whole corridor, not just the 9 around Clark Point. Just afraid that what'll happen is once we upgrade these lights, that citizens down the line may start making additional requests. The additional lighting will make the roadway safer for both pedestrians. We will have sidewalks out there, as well as there's a lot of driveway density along that roadway as well. But anyway, what we're looking for is commission guidance on how to proceed, whether to just go with the 9 or look at the whole corridor.
And this came out of the Riverwatch meeting. They were complaining it was too dark to drive up and down and get in and out of their driveways. So that's where this came from. So if we just replace the 9 bulbs with whatever these are, well, let me back up. When the road is finished, how's the lighting going to change? Or will these have to be moved?
No, the poles have already been moved. They'll go on the existing. Essentially, what this is changing the fixtures on the lights that are out there to make a brighter bulb, is my understanding. Is that, yes?
It's called an upgrade. I imagine that's what it is.
Yeah, right.
I have a question, too, that may help your decision.
Yes, sir.
So this is a current streetlight district that's being paid for by residents. So if we add these 36 poles,
Their fees will
is
go
it
up.
still the same streetlight district, or are we expanding the streetlight district to new people, and have they been notified? Or are they just going to see it show up on there? But we'd pay for it. It does, but what I'm asking is the 36 poles that we're going to put in, if I'm looking at the map and I see that we're going to add 36 poles and one is, let me find something that's out away from Clark Point.
Yeah, I don't really see a broad map of the entire corridor in my work.
So if it gets to, let's just say hypothetically, it gets from Clark Point all the way back to, what would that be, Petersburg Station, or whatever the case may be. Let's say we're putting them there. So are all the people then that are going to get those additional 36 poles, are they going to be paying into the streetlight fund? which means that we would pay the $28,000. But this is a citizen request.
Yes.
And that's an existing streetlight district.
Right.
Are these 36 poles all on Old Petersburg Road? So there are a lot of back roads on this map here, there, that's part of it.
But again, it's all over. It's not just Old Petersburg. It's, those red lights are all over. As a matter of fact, there aren't as many on Old Petersburg as I would have expected.
Yeah, I think that diagram's a little ambiguous on what we're really trying to do here. The first district, or the first one, it shows streetlight district 130 shows where the 9 lights would go. And it's pretty much in the center of that diagram that you're looking at.
It looks like it's mostly Candlewood. If I'm looking at it right, it's a little hard to see, but it looks like all the red is in Candlewood.
Yes.
Vast majority of it.
Those are existing streetlights.
Right. Right, but you said the red were the potential recommended additional, is that? Oh, okay. 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 All right.
That's made it confusing.
Which red are we talking about?
This would be the nine lights that are in the center
Gotcha.
that we're looking at. We're not showing the whole
Gotcha.
corridor.
We don't have the entire corridor map.
Correct, we don't.
Okay, but you're saying that it would not just be Old Petersburg, it would include parts of Washington, parts of, all on that same road, though? Okay.
And so one option is to change 9 light bulbs. And we can do that and passed along in the streetlight district.
Correct.
The other option is to relight the whole road with new bulbs, but that is not passed along in a new streetlight district. Right.
So I guess the first thing we need to decide is whether we're going to go for the Band-Aid or whether you want to consider the entire corridor. And if you do want to consider the entire corridor, then we need to decide how we wish to fund it of those two choices.
Do we have any similar roadway lighting projects that we fund?
For a single, but usually 1 or 2 lights, it's not 36?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no other situation like, we don't light the entire North Bel Air Road? Or Old Evans Road, or,
That would be my caution to you, that I think you'd want to establish a streetlight district, because
Yeah.
as we audit the streetlight fund, you know, we're very careful to make sure that fund remains solvent, that it pays for what it's intended to pay for. And if we go out there too much and start doing these projects where we're paying, you know, $30,000 a year and nobody's paying to that, all you're doing is taking off of other people in established streetlight funds.
Right, so can we put the 9 bulbs in and then,
Try to
establish
a district?
I'm saying you put the 9 bulbs in and then we approve the other ones and create a new streetlight district for the whole thing? Is it a quick temporary fix and then maybe a little more long-term fix that then we can work into a new
Well, that would
streetlight?
require notification and a public hearing, correct?
not the initial one, the
No,
first.
no, no, the $400, we can do that right now.
Right. And that would be basically modifying Streetlight District 130, and then what we could do is come back with a recommendation for the rest of the corridor.
Yeah, that would be,
So can I have a motion to that?
desire is a very big word. All right.
Right.
Move for the lesser of the two options
Is-
for consent.
With the, well, and then they'll come back on the second, okay, second.
Well, I think coming back on the second would be up to the citizens where they want to apply for a streetlight district,
Right, right.
not the county.
All right, so move to consent that we will upgrade the existing 9 lights.
Okay. Okay, the next one is a roadway safety striping project. There's a list of roadways, and it's to, scope of the project was to basically stripe a list of roads. They include Blanchard Road, Blue Ridge, Columbia Industrial, Davis Road, Gibbs Road, John Deere Parkway, Nob Hill Farm, Old Anderson, Old Evans, Ridge Road, Swint Road, and Tubman Road. Staff recommends approval to issue a purchase order to Peak Pavement Markings LLC in the amount of $176,130.90 to provide the striping and raised pavement markers per their quote number 24265 dated March 30, 2016, and funding is available in the IPTF line code 2342710.5222137.
Anyone need him to read that again?
Can you repeat that number? I'm just kidding.
No.
Again, I keep asking these questions because for my own edification, I just want to understand. Is this a lifestyle cycle, or is this a lifestyle, I'm sorry, is this a life cycle project, or is this also based on data and safety information?
This is based on,
Observation.
the thermoplastic striping is only going to last about 5 to 9 years, so.
It's kind of a
But
life
whereas
cycle
it's not a life
pattern.
cycle,
We
yeah,
have.
we're trying to keep our roadway and
Okay.
safety up.
Move for consent with a comment,
Second with a comment.
but actually request, would you delay Columbia Industrial till Riverwatch is finished? Because that's going to be tore up down on the Old Evans roadside.
Hmm?
You asked my question.
All right,
We can take it up to the project limits.
so move to consent.
Well, same with Old Evans Road.
Mm-hmm.
We will be an orange cone farm for the next 5 years.
And next item is an intergovernmental agreement to help Harlem resurface 2 of their roads in order to get them a better price. Staff recommends approval
Got the helmet. You missed
of
one.
the LMIG, Local Maintenance Improvement Grant Funds,
Yeah, that's.
of bid 2016-011. Did I skip one?
Where are those list of projects?
Yeah, is that
List of projects is, could be in the,
at the city of Harlem? 3313. Yes, yeah. City of Harlem requests assistance for resurfacing 2 of their roads.
Well, we've got the LMIG first. We'll take care of that. Bid 2016-011. That's the 2016 LMIG, and then beyond that, I think we have the Harlem piece as another item.
yeah, they're companion items.
Are the roads in here?
Yes, they're part of they're in the bid tabulation. Steve, do you have the list of roads off the top of your head? Yes, Reeves Construction.
Ramps.
Got a list of numbers, we don't have the project names.
Burford Farm Road improvements. Washington Road improvements. Page
Okay, here we go. Got Ronald Reagan Drive, Bel Air Frontage Road, Clark Point, Wheeler Road. And then City of Harlem is resurfaced North Bell and North Hatcher Streets.
I don't understand what the deal is. I'd just like to know the roads we're doing so that when people ask me when it's gonna be,
Yeah, it's in there. It's Ronald Reagan Drive. Yeah.
well, am I even in the right item number? Number 9?
Did I get out of order?
Oh, okay.
On mine, it's on my last page.
Yeah. That one? Yep.
Mine, it's the very last page, actually. List them.
So you have the roads now?
Question and answers, number 4, see Ronald Reagan Drive striping plan. Q&A number 6A, Clark Point, Wheeler Road, Bel Air frontage. On the last page.
Well, what is this list of, LMIG 216 with all the DOT numbers and about
That's the item
5
mean.
items?
That's the bid items. That's the quantities that they're bidding on. They do it, everything.
For all of these projects, this
Yeah,
includes the
it's
projects?
combined, yes, sir.
Okay.
So we'll go back and we're asking for your approval on the first item that we have, which is that bid 2016-011. That's the 2016 LMIG in the amount of $1,032,600.30.
001, you mean?
011,
Yes.
what I have.
Okay.
201, 6011?
Yeah,
Yes,
to rescribe it, yeah.
that's right.
$1,059,593.50.
Come up with this list of roads?
Talk about that. Now, obviously, the LMIG list was much longer when you saw it, but when the bids come back, we can only do
The 1-1.
so many of those.
So how many actual, do we need to split this up into 2 or 3 votes then?
No, I don't,
Right.
Did we have these as priority? Did we set the LMIG list as priorities?
You did.
Okay, move for consent on the first item.
Second.
So moved.
And then we go
Now-
to Harlem.
The Harlem agreement.
yeah, this is enter into an intergovernmental agreement for the 2 roads that are on the bid, the previous bid. Staff recommends approval.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved to consent. All right, so that was item B8 and B9 we just took care of.
Correct.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
It says resurfacing 2 of their roads, and there's only 1 on the list. Where am I losing that?
It's North Bell and North Hatcher Streets.
Okay, so it's two roads under 1 item.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Thank you very
Right.
much.
Both those go to consent. All righty, and we'll move on to Laurie, Section 1A.
This accepts improvements of Clark Section 1A for sanitary sewer easements and easements associated with these improvements on parcels listed on Track D for the lift station. Staff recommends acceptance of the improvements of Clark Section 1A, easement plat, and the as-built and warranty deed with 1-year warranty period beginning the day the deed is recorded.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
And
Back to the streetlights.
Max Street. This, we held the public hearing, this would be the first reading to establish the street light district for Claren Bridge 1, Hartstown 1, Whispering Pines Phase A, and then also Indian Springs Section 3, Phase 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Do consent, sir? Can we do that? That has to go to debate,
Yes, that has to
correct.
stay on the debate agenda.
That's
even though
correct.
we've had the public hearing.
That's correct.
Okay?
Next one would be the supplemental agreement with Georgia DOT for the intergovernmental agreement to manage the TIA project, Flowing Wells Road. Original did not include the county to do on the right-of-way acquisition. This supplemental will allow the county to do the right-of-way acquisition for Flowing Wells using the TIA funds. Staff recommends approval, and in the future, we'll have several of these coming forward, so what we're asking is that to allow Chairman Cross the ability to sign and execute any future supplementals to allow us to do the right-of-way acquisition.
So we are beginning right away on Flowing Wells.
Yes, we're moving into initial right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're setting the right-of-way, but yeah, we'll be going into acquisition soon.
Okay?
Move to consent.
Consent.
Second.
Whatever one.
Jinx?
Moved on.
Next one is to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Board of Education for Columbia Middle School for their science, technology, engineering, and math students. So this will help them get their certification. This is to work with the landfill closure. And so anyway, staff recommends approval of the memorandum of understanding.
Move for consent with a question.
Second.
Mr. Cross?
I guess this meets what we're allowed to do under closing of a landfill.
Yeah. Yes, we're developing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So moved. Any further question? All right, so moved.
And next one will be for State Route 28 Furious Ferry Road improvements to award contract to Jacobs Engineering in the amount of $284,577.41. This will basically allow them to get us to the concept phase. We will be coming back for the detailed engineering once the concept is decided on. This will get us through public hearing processes as well as deciding what the final concept and alignment will be.
Move to consent.
Second.
So moved. Last item, sir.
Yeah, this is part of a community development block grant. I think Robbie Bennett's here if you have any questions on it. This is with the Georgia Iron Works. And should we receive a grant for $400,000, the county agreed to a chip in another $100,000, and that Georgia Iron Works would contribute the balance. My understanding of that. This would be award the bid, the amount of $857,180.58 to Reeves Construction for construction of the improvements in front of the Georgia Iron Works, and the balance, the county with their $100,000 match. Staff recommends to approval.
This is basically an A-cell, D-cell, isn't it?
Widen the road.
Yes, left turn lanes, safety improvements along the frontage of it.
Move for consent with a question.
Second.
In your last meeting, Georgia Iron Works did agree to pick up the rest of the tab.
I have a copy of it.
A good deal.
Met with
This is good.
Wolfgang?
This is good for everybody. If they didn't accept this grant, it was a $500,000 grant that Robbie worked really hard on to get from DCA, and without this grant, they would have to fund the entire project as part of their expansion. So I think it's a good deal.
So moved on to consent then. Thank you very much, sir. Development Services.
All right. The item I have is ordinance number 16-07, deleting chapter 22, business and business regulations, article 4, reserved, and establishing chapter 22, business and business regulations, article 4, massage service, repealing any conflicting ordinances and establishing an effective date. County ordinance review staff, along with the county attorney, have been working for quite some time, just trying to identify and come up with a ordinance for operation of massage parlors in Columbia County. We worked through this and used basically the alcohol license as a model. We laid it out pretty much down the same lines. This gives you the definitions of who the licensee is, and business owner, operator licensee. Like I said, in the Exhibit A spells all that out and establishes a distance between businesses as well. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to.
That distance is,
It's 2 miles.
will I get a motion from you, Mr. Cross?
Mr. Chairman, are you happy with this?
I am rather happy, sir.
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
There's
sir.
one item in here that I picked up on yesterday, and it may be for Mr. Driver, but I know that it doesn't affect any existing business or deny any renewal of such license for existing business. But we've got in the ordinance that a new owner of a location shall not be denied a new license. Is that a legal requirement? If a new owner comes in, do we have to grant them that, or could we? I understand that we have to grandfather in everybody that's currently within the 2 mile radius, but if that owner went out of business, do we have to automatically let a new owner do business there, or could we take that out? Okay, that makes sense, okay.
I think we have to leave that in. You'd have to allow them to sell their business for whatever they could.
Okay.
I was
Good
thinking,
question, though.
we'll do a motion for that if you'll agree to put one in Building G down there for the county staff.
I don't know that there's a 2 mile clearance for Building G. I don't remember seeing that on the map, but,
It is in District 1, though, right?
well, I'll tell you what, perhaps, are shiatsu massage chairs included in this? Perhaps we could find a middle ground.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved on to consent. Thank you. Well, it's ordinance again, it's got to go to debate.
Correct.
Got to go to debate, I'm sorry. Trying to streamline everything. here.
That's right, yeah. To debate.
That's why I said approval instead of consent.
I know, Mr. Cross. Next, planning services.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is the acceptance of the performance bond, letter of credit, warranty deed, and engineering cost estimate for Aberdeen at Canterbury Farms. Staff recommends acceptance of the performance bond, letter of credit, and warranty deed for Aberdeen at Canterbury Farms upon staff's approval of the final plat, performance bond, and warranty deed with a 1-year warranty period beginning the day the as-built is approved.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
Next item is the acceptance of the performance bond, letter of credit, warranty deed, and engineering cost estimate for improvements at Patriots Ridge, Section 2. Staff recommends acceptance of the performance bond, letter of credit, and warranty deed for Patriots Ridge, Section 2, upon staff's approval of the final plat, performance bond, and warranty deed. The 1-year warranty period beginning the day the as-built is approved.
Move to consent.
Second with a question.
Yes, sir.
We had some concerns about these things before, and I can't recall, did we address those concerns and change the rules about these bonds or not?
I still have concerns about it, Mr. Chairman.
We've not taken anything to propose any changes yet?
No, sir. Have not.
Okay. I couldn't remember where I missed it or not, but I didn't think we had
No, sir.
attacked that yet.
No,
We still have concerns about these, about the way they're done.
Okay, thank you.
It's worth a good, long conversation about it.
I'd prefer a short answer. Long conversation.
We'll have a short answer, but
Thank you.
you have the long conversation.
All right, that goes to consent. Any other items before we go to legal? Any legal? And now we'll go into staff reports, development services.
First one we have is March 2015, 2016 Development Service Monthly Report, and attached is a copy of that report for your information only. Up. Complaints are up, permits are up, inspections are up.
Everything's up but sales tax.
Yes, it seems that
It is at the
way.
state level.
Well, those people moving in aren't buying food or anything, Ron. You know, they're just
That's right.
going out to eat or any of that, clothes.
Now they're driving over to McDuffie to buy their groceries.
Absolutely.
Farming.
Their shopping selection.
All right, planning service reports.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we're moving on.
you got the Development Services Financial
Again,
Report.
I
for
apologize,
information.
I'm in a rush today. Go ahead, sir.
Next, the financial report, for your information only. And last is the March 2016 temporary alcohol event permit that Administrator and I had approved last month
And disapprove.
and disapproved.
Where were the several? There. All right. Any questions? So, late night karaoke was the only one that stayed approved, and they're probably going to apply for a permit, for a
That's correct.
permanent license, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now then, Strickland, it's your turn.
You've got the planning department rezoning and plat requests report in front of you for information, if you have any questions about it.
Any questions? Good report, thank you, sir.
Pleasure. Next item is the plan review statistics for January and February. Again, for your information, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
February, typically our slowest month.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it takes a little
sure
while to
it's-
ramp up from the holidays.
Sure.
So towards the end of April, or end of April after Masters Week tends to be towards summer.
Any other questions? Seeing none, any comments, commissioners, from the public or staff? Seeing none, we have no executive session. Our next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 10th, immediately following Management and Internal Services Committee that begins at 8:30. Same time, same place. May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Paul,